to Velvet Diva, Daphne T, and I'm here to talk to you, dolls, about the essentials of natural hair care. It's very important that you realize when you're on this journey, it's a journey of awareness, and it's also a separate path in which you instill in yourself to learn about your natural hair. Many of us natural dolls, including myself, can't even recall the texture, the feel, the look of their hair from maybe childhood. I remember looking at pictures and seeing how gorgeous my natural texture was, but not really realizing why or when my mother really decided it was time for me to get my first relaxer. I believe I had my relaxer when I was around 9, my first one around 9 or 10, and from there I've always had a relaxer in my hair. There'd be like intervals where I would get a big chop and then let it grow out and then relax it, and I just never really knew what my hair texture was. So for many of you transitioning divas and newly natural divas, it's important to know the essentials of natural hair care, and basically to know certain things that you would need in order to basically continue on this journey and not sway towards one relaxer. I know a lot of people who've transitioned for 6, 7, 8 months and then decide, okay, I'm gonna, relapse. And when they relapse, they go and do a relaxer, and then they start all over again with the journey. And I'm hoping that the tips that I give you will ensure that you divas don't, backslide into getting a relaxer and relapse, and just continue on this healthy hair journey. For me, my journey is not even about, just length. My journey is about health first, overall anything. I want healthy, beautiful, big hair. If I can get a certain length, that's fine, but I'm not putting a certain monument or certain length that I'm supposed to have at certain, or certain times, like 6 months, a year. I'm not putting a certain length. I just want healthy hair overall. So I wrote a couple things down today while I was on the train on my way to orientation for work study at school. And I'm just going to go over it, and, we can talk in depth about it if you would like. You can put responses, you can add your 2 cents into this conversation also. So, number 1, I feel the overall essentials is to stick to a consistent regimen. I know a lot of people, including myself, change your regimen as the seasons change, depending where you live at. You may have a 1 season, and for me it's 4 seasons. So it's winter, spring, summer, and fall. So all 4 seasons. I've been natural for 3 seasons so far, and I've changed my regimen since then. So I feel like just getting a regimen, being consistent with the regimen, is the key to everything. If you decide, let's say, okay, one thing's not working for me, I need to switch it, you can do that. But keep a consistent regimen. That will guarantee that in the days that, let's say, you don't want to do anything, or you have a week-old twist out like I tend to do, your hair texture and everything still feels the same because you're consistent with your regimen. Low to minimum manipulation to your hair is also key. When I first started transitioning, I tried several different styles within the week. I would do a Bantu knot out, I would do twist out, I would do roller sets, and it would be to the point where I was constantly touching my hair, to the point where I wasn't really sure if the effects of it not growing properly was for manipulation. So keep manipulation to a low or minimum. What I would say is, like, for me, I do Sunday is my wash day, deep conditioning day. I do my twist out Sunday. I twist them, I take them out Monday morning, and from Monday to Sunday I leave them in, and that is my sort of protective style, a twist out, which I leave it weekly. Protective styles is also key. I know a lot of people's like, okay, I'm not going to do protective style because I'm in a TWA stage, and it may be hard to do protective styles. A lot of divas do transition, or with their big chop, they immediately goes to cornrows, braids, or wigs. Always remember when you do protective styles to make sure that you're ensuring that your natural hair is receiving the same TLC as if you were doing regular relaxed hair. Example would be, if you do wigs, make sure that you are getting a cap put over your wigs, not just putting the wigs itself, or that you take it off nightly. And when you do that, make sure you're just at least adding something around the hairlines. Be very cautious that this will cause a lot of breakage from the wig being either too tight or just being worn constantly. Just be mindful of your edges when doing wigs. If you want to do transitioning with weaves, make sure that you're taking care of your hair underneath it. When I did my transition, I did maybe 2 weaves, and the way that I did it is, when I did the cornrows going straight back, and I had 2 in the front, so the cornrows wasn't really pushing my hairline back. I had 2 in the front and the rest going straight back. And when I did that, I put a net on top of it for extra precaution, because you know when you're doing the braids you don't want it to move around, and the net sat on top of my hair. And I would, every night I would grease my scalp, as well as add Dr. Miracle's scalp and temple balm around my hairline to ensure that it was not breaking from the human hair being braided on top of my hair. If you decide to do box braids or cornrows, same thing. Make sure that you're taking care of your hair. With box braids, I know a lot of us do micro braids and we tend to forget about taking care of our real hair underneath. Key to that is just making sure you just grease your scalp nightly. And if you do micro braids, depending on what wavy, which texture you choose, make sure that you use a silk bonnet or a silk wrap or something to protect your hair so it stays fresh and you won't be doing. With box braids, manipulation is not really a big issue because your hair is protected, it's braided under, your ends are sealed. So just make sure you just grease your scalp and you are mindful of your temple and your nape area. Also, once you do your big chop, make sure that you do moisturize and seal your ends daily. What I do is I have a spritz bottle concoction, which is my moisturizing, and I seal it with either shea butter, castor oil, any kind of thing to seal my ends. That's my regimen. Also, key thing, dolls, don't look at somebody's journey and expect to have the same results for yours. Make sure that you set realistic goals, in other words. For me, when I first started transitioning, what I tend to do was I would, Google, okay, I'm 2 month natural hairstyles, and I would look at somebody's and be like, why isn't my hair that length? Everybody's journey is different, so be mindful of your own. Don't take somebody's journey and think yours will be the same. Be mindful. Just happy, be enjoyful. TWA to me is the best stage because it's that in-between stage when you can do wash and goes and not have to worry about this end sticking out, this end sticking out. My hair is growing out of my TWA. I still classify my hair as a TWA, but it's growing out, and I find when I first big chopped, I would do my wash and goes every day and I would have no problems. Now I have to do twist outs weekly in order to get the same results when I was freshly, newly natural. So make sure you do that. Also, don't be afraid to ask some of your favorite YouTube bloggers, questions, comments, or things like that. A lot of them do answer. If you do send a personal message, they'll send you back. I remember when I first started my transitioning, I love Candy Loves You. I love her. And I remember writing her a personal message, because I was not sure what I was doing, I was taking her videos, but I wasn't really digesting them the way that I should. So I wrote her a personal message, and she answered me back. And she basically let me know whatever questions I had, I can feel free to ask, and she would answer. And that's the one thing that I always remember. I'm like, wow, I'm so happy she gave me that advice. Now I can do my own journey and not worry about anybody else's issues, and not issues that I will stumble upon. So that's key to it. Also, for the summertime, make sure if you're doing as far as with chlorine, you have the right shampoos and conditioners. I haven't went swimming as of now of being natural, but I know when I do decide to go swimming that I will be doing a style where my hair is protected. It will not be a twist style. It'll probably be braids or something like that. And just make sure if you do have your natural hair in its natural state, no braids, no twist out or anything, you bring the right adequate products in order to get rid of the chlorine in your hair. You don't want that. That's, to me, is a no-no. Also, don't be afraid to try out different styles. Don't be afraid to try out different products. A lot of us do become product junkies in the beginning stages of transitioning or becoming newly natural, because we'll see one great review and we'll say, okay, maybe I can get the same results. I became a product junkie. I've limited my product junkie down a minimum. I'm not going to say I haven't bought new products and tried them out, but don't be afraid to. Just if you feel you're going over the limit of trying out, that's when you put the brakes and stop. So don't take somebody else's opinion and feel a certain way. If one diva says, I don't like Shea Moisture, and another says, I love Shea Moisture. You know, you're in between. Around the time when you start being natural, you don't really know as far as your curl patterns or anything like that. So you'll tend to see somebody who say, hey, Shea Moisture doesn't work for 4A, or Shea Moisture doesn't work for 4B or something like that. And then you'll think, okay, my hair, I think it's a 4A, I think it's a 4B. We look similar, maybe it won't for me. For me, I have a love-hate relationship with EcoStyle, which all divas love. Shea Moisture, love-hate relationship. I just found out that with those two products, what certain people like, my hair doesn't, so I just have to revamp it. In the beginning, when I first became natural, my hair loved EcoStyler, the original. I don't know why I switched to olive oil. My hair hates olive oil. So now I'm back to just getting the EcoStyler original. And I still use it from time to time, but it's not a staple product in my regimen. Also with Shea Moisture, everybody loves the Curl Enhancing Smoothie, or that product line. What is it? The hibiscus? I don't even know. My hair doesn't like that. What my hair does like for Shea Moisture is the Shea Butter one, or the African Black Soap. So I can't totally say I don't like Shea Moisture. My hair just doesn't like that line. It changes. So that's the same thing with you. Make sure you try different things before, you know, canceling it all out completely. Also, my key thing, I'm going to wrap this up because it's going to get a little long-winded. Hair dyeing, hair coloring, hair straightening. When you're doing and blow dryers, make sure you use heat protectant and try not to do it so often. A lot of people wonder why some of their favorite bloggers are, you know, proclaiming heat damage. The key reason why they're, you know, trying to educate others on heat damage is because heat damage is serious. It's something very serious. Once your hair has heat damage, there's no way. You can do Afrodrene treatments, you can do every treatment in the book. There's no way to revert your hair once you have heat damage. And the reason why I want to stress getting protective serums or protective products for heat damage is because once your hair does not reverse back, your only thing is to let it grow out or cut it off. And I would hate for you guys to start your journey, you know, fall in love with your hair and then have to cut it because you have heat damage. So make sure you research products. If you have questions on what I use, I have a video explaining what products I use when I do my blowouts. I haven't really done flat irons and I don't plan to. I just do blowouts. I love the effect of a blowout. Just make sure that when you do it, you use a ceramic hair dryer. I use a ceramic hair dryer and I put it on the lowest heat setting. It's not on hot, it's cool air. It takes longer to do it, but I get the same effects if I was doing it on a high setting. I do it on a low setting and I use my heat protectant. Make sure you use that. Also, I'm a color diva, and a lot of people feel once you color your hair, you're no longer natural. I don't see that because my curl pattern did not change. It stayed the same. Just make sure when you're doing your coloring that you're doing it within a consistent basis, not doing it once a month, or if you do it in that. Me, I haven't done my I haven't done a color since January. I'm letting it grow out. When I did do my color prior to that, that was in November. So I set certain goals when I will retouch. When you do retouch, if you're doing the same color, make sure you just do your new growth and not your ends. That's key. That will prevent any damage you would get from doing your hair. And make sure that once you do it, you just be more consistent with your deep conditionings and your hot oil treatments, and you will have no problem with your color. Just make sure that's key. Deep conditioner is key to making sure that you don't have damage in your hair or anything like that. So I hope that helps you, divas. Those are my essentials of being natural, tips and strategies in order to keep your hair looking lovely as the day you first did your big chop. So I hope that helps you, dolls. I will talk to you later. Bye.